Hello, my name is Matthew Peplinski and I am a certified Meridian Energy Therapy practitioner. I supplement the work emotionally disturbed people do with a psychotherapist with alternative and complementary psychotherapy, such as Meridian Energy Therapy, also known as energy psychology, mindfulness-based cognitive behavioral therapy, bioenergetic analysis, and various other techniques. I have something very exciting to tell you. Science is now exploring something both old and new. Science is now slowly uncovering all the secrets mystics and shamans have understood for a very long time. This previously esoteric concept of energies is now being explored in terms of actual biological phenomena, which will be discussed later in this course. And techniques to use this concept in psychotherapy are being developed. I myself have tried numerous self-help techniques and been to several psychotherapists, and I can honestly state that nothing I have been in contact with has been as helpful as energy therapy. In this video series, I invite you to join me on this exploration of a state-of-the-art field which is at the same time both old and new. What do I mean by energy therapy? By energy therapy, I mean all psychotherapies that acknowledge the existence of vital energies in the body and use this concept to improve mental health. There are quite a few psychotherapeutic approaches that combine this ancient principle with modern psychology and medicine. One of them is bioenergetic analysis, as well as various other forms of Reichian bodywork. These methods are considered a form of psychodynamic psychotherapy and deal with character change. This particular system of therapy will be discussed on my blog mentaltherapy.net at a later date, along with various other forms of psychotherapy which combine ancient traditions with academic psychology, such as mindfulness-based cognitive behavioral therapy and various other forms of psychotherapy. In this video course, we'll focus on one energy therapy in particular, Meridian Energy Therapy, sometimes called energy psychology, because it's the most practical and has been known to provide near instantaneous results for many issues. Now please allow me to tell you a story of how I got into this field. You see, I have Asperger's syndrome and I have a very strong genetic tendency towards anxiety, addictions, depression, and a host of other problems, including psychosis. Additionally, my dad was an alcoholic, so nature and nurture worked so well together at predisposing me to mental illness. Even at a very early age, I had major depression, OCD, generalized anxiety disorder, and multiple phobias, including agoraphobia, which kept me from leaving the house for anything else than school. At the age of 8, I was lying in bed and watching TV while eating all day like a depressed old man. My parents were against putting me into psychotherapy, and I myself was scared of it at that time. But one day I got the internet and I said to myself, enough. I began searching for information on how to help myself. I bought some self-help books and tried to practice what they taught. And to be honest, it didn't work out as well as I might have hoped. It got so bad that even though I did help myself with some of my problems through the methods I found, I was so torn inside by the conflicting dogmas found in various books, and so deluded by the distortions of esoteric principles commonly found in self-help literature that I actually became psychotic. This is a common experience among people who are into self-treatment and do it incorrectly, as when you're emotionally unstable, you need grounding. And many of the techniques out there make you very spaced out. They can sometimes cause you to lose touch with reality. This is not a bad thing on its own, but can be dangerous if you're emotionally unstable, have suicidal tendencies, or are under a lot of real-life stress, which I was. Ultimately, this led me to attempt suicide. And then it turned into a full-blown psychotic episode. And so I became catatonic. I walked like a broken doll for a period of 6 months, and was on antipsychotics for a very long time. I had to do a lot of psychotherapy, both on my own and with a therapist, to recover from that. The techniques that helped me in particular were Meridian Energy Therapy, especially its most popular offshoot EFT, bioenergetic analysis, mindfulness, and CBT, and a few other lesser-known techniques, which I'll also talk about on my blog, mentaltherapy.net. As I said before, this particular course will be about the technique that helped me the most, Meridian Energy Therapy, also known as energy psychology. This method has pretty much cleared my panic attacks, my phobias, and really helped me cope with a lot of overwhelming emotions that I've experienced. Honestly, it allowed me to stop being afraid of my own emotions and reactions, if that makes sense. But there is a problem with this method that can hurt you if you don't know about it. Back in the day, I managed to cure my panic attacks with EFT, and so, ecstatic, I wanted to deepen my knowledge of it. I tried to read as many books as I could find and practice as much of it as I could. But the thing is, I hurt myself by doing so, as 90% of those books contradicted each other and had a very formulaic and dogmatic approach to the work. And so I tried to apply multiple conflicting principles, which made me very confused and torn. This is a fault that I noticed in the field of alternative medicine and psychotherapy as a whole. The reason for that is that they lack a scientific approach to the work, something that the original esoteric teachers of the past had. And by that I mean people like Osho or Buddha. They are trying to create a super formula because magic bullets sell well. I, for one, am different. The thing is, even if I wanted to lie and distort what I think is the truth, I would not be very good at it, as I have Asperger's syndrome, a form of light autism, and I'm very bad at lying. Seriously, it has got me into a lot of relationship troubles very often. That's beside the point. Additionally, I try to be focused on people who have real problems, and by real problems I mean trauma, anxiety, depression, etc. The difference between people who have lived through such things and people who have minor problems such as procrastination is that they have to be really careful not to re-traumatize and hurt themselves in the process of self-treatment. And for that they need a far deeper knowledge than someone who just wants to fix a bad habit. I hope that makes sense. Super formulas and magic bullets can be really harmful to them because they can easily bite more off than they can chew and hurt themselves in the process of trying to help themselves, as I did. That's why this technique and my blog, mentaltherapy.net, will have a far more academic approach than most self-help blogs which cater to quick fix solutions. This is to ensure that you really know what you're doing. And is it really that bad to know too much and understand a process deeply, as opposed to knowing just one magic formula without really understanding it? I think not. That's why I want to present energy therapy in an honest, non-hypey, scientific, unexaggerated, down-to-earth way. And I understand that the left brain approach that I advocate might not be for everyone. And so in future updates I'll talk about many other approaches to energy psychology which are more heart-oriented. But I do recommend you sit through my materials first, so you'll get a great context for any other energy psychology materials you'll get in contact with, and in turn really make the most out of what they teach. One very good documentary that complements my rather academic approach is The Tapping Solution, which teaches energy therapy in a more practice-oriented way and is more focused on regular day-to-day problems and self-improvement. And it's actually an actual feature-length documentary film filled with case studies of how meridian energy therapy has changed people's lives for the better. It also features input from experts such as Bob Proctor, Jack Canfield, Dr. Joseph Mercola, Dr. Bruce Lipton, and many others. And so, if you want a more motivational approach to energy therapy and something that will supplement the things I teach you here very well, I cannot recommend this material enough. And I'll talk about more reasons why this material is so valuable and complementary to what I teach you here more extensively in the future, because it's actually not only a documentary, but something that could only be described as a milestone in the field. As I said, I'll talk more about that in future updates. So now, please like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Google+, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And after that, I would be very grateful if you would also check the tapping solution through my link in the text version of this presentation to see if it's something that appeals to you and if you can use it to complement this course. In the next video, I'll introduce you to the history of meridian energy therapy and to the theory behind that particular form of energy therapy. P.S. Additionally, I can inform you now that I'll soon be releasing a book on energy psychology, which will be also a great supplement to this course. But I'll talk more about that in the future. But I can promise you, it's something to be excited about.